Hello everyone, I am CMA Rohit Tantia. I cleared CMA in June 2022 attempt and I thought I should share few things for recently qualified CMAs. But first of all, congratulations to everyone. You have done great and achieved something which very few can. So you deserve a lot of praise for that and you should be proud of yourself. If you are someone who is great at studies and soft skills, this might not be very helpful to you, and for others you might find few helpful tips. So I was shortlisted for 5 companies: ITC Food, ITC Hotels, Prism Johnson, Kalpataru and Bharat Earthmovers Limited. And though I was not selected by any of these companies, or I did not choose the opportunity I got, but I believe I can still give you some useful tips. First of all, I want to talk about resume. You don't necessarily have to make a fancy and creative resume. तुम अगर एक सिंपल सा ब्लैक एंड वाइट MS वर्ड पर रेज्यूमे बना देते हो तो उससे भी काम हो जाएगा. तुम गूगल पर जाओ, तुम यूट्यूब पर जाओ and learn what things are needed to be included in the resume. Make sure your resume looks reasonably good and professional. उसका अलाइनमेंट ठीक हो, फ़ॉन्ट ठीक हो, फ़ॉन्ट साइज ठीक हो, इन सब चीज़ों का ध्यान रखो. और अगर तुम टेबल्स यूज़ कर रहे हो देन मेक श्योर वो बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी या लंबी ना हो, बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फॉर्मेशन स्टफ्ड ना हो. मेंशन योर एक्सपीरियंस इन पॉइंट्स एंड गिव ब्रीफ डिटेल्स अबाउट इट, नॉट लॉन्ग पैराग्राफ्स एक्सप्लेनिंग व्हाट यू डिड. अगर कोई 3-4-5 घंटे का भी सर्टिफिकेट है तो उसे बाद में अलग से मेंशन करो. अगर कोई 2-3 महीने वाला सर्टिफिकेट है तो उसे मेन एजुकेशन क्वालिफिकेशन के साथ मेंशन करो. If you are currently pursuing any certification course which will complete before campus, don't forget to mention that. There will be companies like Citco, UBS, DIA, and some related to finance, securities or financial markets or banking. These companies look for such related certifications, and if you have that, it will increase your chances of getting shortlisted. आजकल कुछ घंटों से लेकर कुछ वीक्स के सर्टिफिकेशन कोर्सेज ऑनलाइन अवेलेबल हैं. वो फ्री वाले भी हैं, वो पेड वाले भी हैं. सो इफ़ यू थिंक यू शुड परस्यू एनी सर्टिफिकेशन कोर्स, डू इट एंड डोंट फॉरगेट टू मेंशन इट इन योर रेज्यूमे. जो भी रेलेवेंट अचीवमेंट्स है वो भी रेज्यूमे में मेंशन कर सकते हैं. अगर कुछ एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी और बहुत अच्छा किया है सो मेंशन इट हेल्प्स. And I have seen people getting selected with good resumes and bad resumes, so I cannot say for sure what really works. If you try out of campus, you will need a good resume for sure, but in campus placement, it doesn't matter so much. If you are someone who have very little experience, then make sure you write at least 1 or 2 things in the resume and learn those things from the internet. Do this only if you are sure about it, because you will be asked questions. If you are someone who did dummy training, you still have a chance. You also have a chance, but you will have to learn those things, those concepts deeply, theoretically and practically. And you can do that actually. You can do that from Google, you can do that from YouTube, because so many professionals are sharing their practical experience. So you can use that. And you will have a chance to get a good job. But this matters only when you actually know what you have studied in CMA, because they will check your fundamentals. So make sure your fundamentals are not weak. And जहाँ तक उसके अपना जो रेज्यूमे है वो 2 पेज से ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं करे. 2 पेज से ज़्यादा लंबा होना might not be very helpful to you. Now I want to talk about orientation. जो आपका नेक्स्ट 1-1.5 महीना है उसमें जहाँ तक हो सके ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टाइम आप अपने कैंपस प्लेसमेंट की प्रिपरेशन में दीजिए. कहीं घूमने जाना है तो जाइए, आपको दोस्तों से मिलना है मिलिए, आप फ़न कीजिए, बट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द टाइम गिव इट फॉर द कैंपस प्रिपरेशन. ये टाइम आपके एग्ज़ाम वाले लास्ट महीने से भी शायद ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि कैंपस प्लेसमेंट के बाहर एक अच्छी जॉब ढूंढना इज़ टफ. हम लोगों का ओरिएंटेशन हुआ था सूरत में, and that happened for the first time because there were almost 35 to 36 students, and also because of the efforts of our Surat chapter. Or this time it's going to happen in Mumbai, and please don't miss it if possible. आपको बहुत कुछ चीज़ें सीखने मिलेंगी जो आपके इंटरव्यू में काम आएंगी, आपके प्रोफेशन में काम आएंगी. आपका ओरिएंटेशन 2 वीक से कम का होगा और वहाँ आप एक्सपीरियंस फैकल्टी से प्रैक्टिकल काम भी सीख पाएंगे. You will get to know how things are really done as a professional. You will learn about important aspects which are important for interview, and most importantly, you will get a chance to change your personality and develop the soft skill needed. You will learn about team building, team behavior. You will learn about group discussion, presentations. You will get chance to speak in front of people on stage. You will get a chance to lead your group, and these things are extremely helpful in your professional life. जहाँ तक हो सके ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पार्टिसिपेशन कीजिएगा, वहाँ पर ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों से मिले, और स्टेज पर जब आपको जाने का मौका मिले, don't miss it, because you will have to speak in front of several panelists, and आपके orientation में there might be 2 to 3 sessions which will not be very helpful, which will add very little value to your skills. So if you skip 1 or 2 sessions, it won't be a problem. But of course, if you attend all of them, that is the best scenario. And I know everyone will not be going to Mumbai for orientation, and उनके भी अपने valid reasons होंगे. For them, I have some tips. Please socialize more and more with people until the campus placement take place. आप कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, कोई सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप, कोई टीम, कोई वॉलंटियर वर्क ज्वाइन कीजिए. आप ऐसी जगह जाइए जहाँ पर आपको ग्रुप्स के साथ बात करने का मौका मिले, जहाँ आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों से मिले, जहाँ पर आप लोगों के सामने आपको बात करने का मौका मिले, मे बी स्टेज पर जाकर बात करने का मौका मिले. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, यू कैन जॉइन रॉबिन हुड आर्मी. There you can participate as volunteer, and you will get a chance to have a discussion with new people. You will meet new people. You will get a chance to lead a group. You can also join Toastmasters Club, and it can really help you with your English and your stage fear. You can learn about group discussions, about presentations, and about interviews from YouTube. There is so much stuff there, so much information, and you can learn a lot of things from there. There is Dhruv coaching classes on YouTube, and they have several mock interviews for CMAs. You can also use the content of CA campus placement and CA interviews, because CA CMA में कोई खास फर्क है नहीं actually. Now I want to talk about group discussions. In a group discussion, you have to make sure that you don't speak too fast or too slow. You cannot keep on talking, and you have to keep in mind that there are other people in group. Don't take too much time. For example, if there are 5 people and they give you 10 minutes to discuss, you are supposed to speak for 2 minutes, but make sure you never cross 2.5 to 3 minutes, because if you do that, there is a high chance that you will be disqualified. If you are not sure about the facts, don't mention them clearly. I will give you my personal example. We had a group discussion about soft drink during our ITC hotels, and I said India is world's number 1 country when it comes to diabetes. But actually China is the number 1 country, and India is on spot 2. And this is one of the reasons I was not selected. So instead I should have said India is one of the top countries, because I was not sure. In such a situation, don't try to be perfect, don't try to be on point, don't give exact details. Give a range, give approximations. Or if you are not sure, just leave it. If you do not know about the topic, then you should wait and listen to others. You just have to rephrase everything you have listened from few people and puke it out. It will work. The way you speak and present yourself matters the most in a group discussion. You will be selected for interview even if you know nothing, but act and repeat what others have said smartly. If things are going in a sequence, then wait for your turn. Don't jump. If you can initiate the group discussion, that will be a plus. It will add more value. But do this only if you are sure and if you have understood the case study clearly. If not, don't do it. You wait. Make sure you do not insult anyone, you don't fight, you don't shout. And remember very well, it's a discussion and not a debate. So behave accordingly. And if you can initiate, that's a really good thing. And if you can conclude the group discussion, that's a big plus, and it shows leadership skills. Basically, you just have to briefly summarize whatever everything has said, whatever everyone has said. And you can also ask everyone to give their opinion briefly. You can also do that. Now I want to talk about shortlisting and interview. We were told that a candidate is usually selected for maximum 4 companies, but that is not the case. I was selected for 5 companies, and I know others who were also selected for 5 to 6 companies too. You can appear for all the companies if you can manage it. And if they like you and want to select you after the interview, you have an option to say no. We were told that if a company likes you and they select you, you don't have any other option, and you will be striked off and you cannot attend the interviews of the next company. But that is not the case. If a company wants you, if they select you, they will ask you. You can say yes, you can say no. But if you say yes and give your consent, then you cannot attend any other interview. Candidate's name is striked off from the list once the company and the candidate give their consent. So keep this thing in mind. About the interview questions, they will ask you questions from your resume. They will ask you questions based on your training and experience. Make sure that you think about every possible question related to the work you have done. In terms of costing, finance and accounting. Okay, for example, मैंने एक साल एक टेक्सटाइल कंपनी में काम किया था. तो मुझे पूछा गया कि what kind of costing is used in textile industry. They could also ask me questions about TDS and TCS rates which are used in that industry. And फिर मैंने CA firm में भी काम किया था in home loans and working capital. So they asked me questions about interest rates. They could have also asked me questions about my bank audit and inventory audit. So you should be prepared for that very well. Then about the other questions, they will not ask you advanced concepts most of the time. Mostly वो आपको basic questions पूछेंगे. आपको finance, costing, accounting, GST से related basic questions पूछे जाएंगे, and you need to know the concepts thoroughly. Accounting standards का भी overall idea होना चाहिए. And some companies might ask you about IND-AS and IND-AS 115, 116, 103, 109 are some of the most important ones. For example, and also like companies like UBS, TIA and Citco, they ask more questions about finance and financial markets because it's their area of work. And the other companies might ask you more questions about accounting, costing or GST. Baki, it all depends on the company and the job role for which you have been shortlisted. And if you are getting good opportunities off campus, you should totally go for it. Usually the packages and the roles are better in campus than off campus. Packages range somewhere between 6.5 lakhs to 12 lakhs. I am talking about most of the companies. There are also other companies who will pay you even more. वहाँ पर government companies भी होंगी, and I would personally advise you to prefer them over the private companies. But if you are very clear about what you want, then choose what seems best to you. My experience at Bharat Earthmovers Limited was quite good. The interview was online and there were 4 panelists. They were quite friendly and they asked me some basic questions. There might be some panelists who will ask you advanced questions and who will challenge you. So you should be ready for everything. Government companies might ask you to sign a bond for a period of 2 or 3 years. In Bharat, Earth Movers Limited, there was bond for 2 years, and if you break that, you would have to pay 2 lakhs rupees. But the salary was really good. So even if I had to pay the bond amount, I would still have received a good salary. So do your calculation. And at last, I would say that your confidence matters a lot. If you are nervous and scared, that's natural, but make sure कि इतना भी ना डर जाएं कि अपना इंटरव्यू ही पूरा खराब हो जाए, क्योंकि वो मेरे साथ हो चुका है. So prepare well and try your best, hope for the best, and हो ही जाएगा. And at last, whatever I have said is based on my experience. I hope these tips helps you and you secure a good job, but I cannot guarantee about these things I said. So follow what seems best to you. Thank you. And it was Rohit Tantia.